Carl, welcome to this week's edition of In the Dugout. We'll start off with some good news this week, the signing of Frankie Mariano until the end of the season. Just explain to us how big a signing that is.
Oh yeah, Richard wanted him. We were alerted to him from Featherstone, and we had to do some work, and good signing for us. Current World Cup player, played in the World Cup. He'll add to us certainly. We all know what he can do. He's a real big athlete, scores some tries, so he'll cause some problems. I
know we beat a couple of championship clubs to his signature as well, so that proves that the club's going in the right direction, attracting a player like his.
Yeah, I've had a few of them call as well, saying, "Gee, that's a good signing," and I think if you see most of the feedback, they're all saying, "Well, what a great signing, good signing, great kid." We know that. He's familiar with a few of our players as well, so. Just where he is at this time in his career, he's self-employed, and Featherstone, there's some real big demands on Featherstone in terms of their train. A lot of them train there like full-time, and Frankie's, like I say, he's self-employed, and just where he is in terms of his career, it fits. I'm sure he'll be here for some time, hopefully, if everything works out. And I've met him for the first time the other day, and genuinely happy to be here. We tried to get him a year or so ago. He wasn't ready yet. He wanted to play championship. Still wants to play championship, but at this moment in time, our club fits for what he's doing in his life.
On to some questions from the fans then. Jared Hilton, a couple of questions about recruitment. Are we still looking to recruit now, or was it just a case of a player like Frankie Mariano becoming available? It was sort of too good an opportunity to turn down.
Exactly that. If somebody else comes along who's like Frankie, and Richard phones me and says, I'll be interested in getting this kid to the club, we'll have a go. But we'll keep our eye on all the players who become available, and if we think they can add to us, then we'll have a go at them.
Another question from Jared here. Joe Westerman re-signed for Hull FC last week. He may be short on match fitness. Is there any possibility of him coming and getting some minutes for the Dons?
Oh, Jared, eh? Who does he want us to leave out for Joe? At the moment, I think doing an injustice to our players if you keep saying, "Oh, we're going to bring him," and this Joe Reg thing, they love it now, eh? They love it. Before it was, why keep bringing all these players from Hull? And he's only said himself there he needs some match fitness. So what? We're just going to put him in and then send him back. We've got players here at the moment that I think that's a bit unfair on. And hey, Jared, it's not even my call, mate. It's Richard's call. But isn't it funny how times change? We got hammered about the dual reg last year. Now we're doing okay again. It's fine. So, well, mate, Joe Westerman, class player, but at the end of the day, Rich will do what he wants to do, and he'll make those calls.
One from Andy Middleton, praising the work of Richard Horn. He says, "Are the board looking to extend Richard's contract?" He says, "We need to keep this guy. He's doing a great job," which is praise for the work done so far.
Listen, don't worry about Richard. We look after Richard. He's all right. He's got a contract with us. It's a rolling contract, so we're not foolish enough to know that he'll go away. He's still got his contract with Hull, and he's still contracted here. And like I say, it's a rolling contract. We ain't looking to move Richard Horn on. Let me tell you now, mate. He's proven himself. He's only young. He's got a massive future in the game. So hopefully, like anything, if things work out for Richard and then things work out for the club, the partnership's great. I think we're all getting on well, and at the moment everything's happy. And didn't someone slag him off the other week on some sort of what I heard? So at the end of the day, Richard's happy, I'm happy, the club's happy, the majority of the supporters are happy, so all good.
One from Nigel Brooks, with a big crowd expected on Sunday. Are we opening the West Stand or any other stand this Sunday, or does it sort of depend on where we are at the end of this week with ticket sales?
I don't think we'll open the West Stand. That East Stand can hold 5,000, so if we have to go around the corners, we'll go around the corners. But there's no need to open the West Stand at this stage.
Looking back at the Featherstone game in the Challenge Cup, we were in that game for so long, weren't we? It was just maybe a touch of class and that bit of experience late on that took the game away from us. How did you assess that game? You must have been so proud watching the team.
Yeah, and gutted because we could have got them. And the gutting thing is the reward they've got, you know, against our Jewel Ridge club. So the boys give everything. And just a couple of little minor things that, you know, Jordan Howden, it was a bit harsh, the sin binning I thought, and they scored while he was off just in the last couple of minutes from his return. Dropped that ball from the scrum in a real good attacking position on play one. But they did us proud, you're certainly right there. Put a performance in like that again this week and things might go our way and we might come out on the right end of the scoreboard.
You mentioned that Challenge Cup 6-round draw there, the fact that Featherstone have been drawn against our Dual Ridge partners Hull FC, that must leave a bit of a sour taste in the mouth for you, just imagining what that could have been like in the Dons against Hull FC.
Yeah, I've been up with the big boss man this morning and informed him of the draw, and he wishes I never told him because, you know, having Hull FC down here in a Challenge Cup game, a real game, would have been huge for us. So we got to get over that quickly, and as much as everyone I've had a few phone calls this morning saying, gee, we could have had Hull FC, and it doesn't get any easier. I wish we did. It would have been brilliant. But maybe next year. 2
games have been rearranged this week. Oldham and West Wales away fixtures for the Dons. The Oldham one's been sort of pushed a week in advance, hasn't it? Now we're going to be playing them in June rather than in May. And the West Wales one, which was scheduled in March, will now be played in the middle of May, so the weather will be a bit warmer hopefully for the boys, playing on a bit of a faster track down there in Wales. Yeah,
we were both clubs, Oldham and West Wales. Chris Hamilton asked me the question at the start of the year. It wasn't a surprise to us. We knew the pitch wasn't going to be available, and we both said, let's see what we do, where we end up in the Challenge Cup, and the first available opportunity to rearrange it, we'll do that. So we did that with Oldham for the 3rd, and the West Wales one similar. You know, we didn't want to go out and tell everyone. You know, our fans were saying they heard rumours. You know, West Wales 13 for. We don't want to go out before a Challenge Cup game and announce we've rearranged the game. It just looks like we've defeated ourselves. But that game was you know, we could have won it. So if we would have won it, that West Wales game wouldn't have been the 13th. We got knocked out, so we've rearranged it this week.
The campaign to get a World Cup game here in 2021 continues this week. Plenty going on the pitch ahead of the game against Bradford on Sunday, and obviously Luke Gale's had a bit to say about it as well. There's a piece in the programme with him this week saying about how much of a thriving environment it will be if we could get a game down here based on the games we've already had, semi-finals of the Challenge Cup, the New Zealand international games we've had here in the past. Big rugby league environment to get people down to when it's full of female, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know, we need to put on a display like we did last week to get them keep coming back. But certainly we're trying everything we can with the back the bid. There'll be some back the bid cards here, and a load of dignitaries from the council here this week that we're hosting, and so we'll be taking the opportunity to have some photos. There's some kids games on the fields beforehand. You know, we've got the family area. All geared up for a huge game against Bradford Bulls. They'll be smarting after their loss last week, so it's going to be a battle. They're close to full time, I believe. Good club, but we just need to make sure that we embrace the occasion, and if the atmosphere is good and the players run out to that atmosphere, then you know they'll give everything again. The fans were great against Featherstone. Not been like that here for some years, but it was a terrific atmosphere.
And the fact, obviously, Bradford and ourselves neck and neck at the top of the table, the winner would go clear at the top. The fact that the name Bradford Bulls, obviously so successful in rugby league in the past 20 years or so, that just adds to it, doesn't it? The game on Sunday, everybody sees Bradford v Doncaster, big game at the top of League One, big clubs at this level. Yeah,
John Kerr and John Bastian were here last week, so whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but obviously they're doing their job. They played Saturday and they came to the game here on Sunday, and I had a chat with them at half time, and you know, they were impressed. So John Kerr's going to have him all fired up. He's a wonderful coach, you know, and one thing he can do is get teams up for one game, you know, and we've seen that with him before in the Challenge Cup, underdogs and Challenge Cup, and he's got his teams up to win. So he'll have them ready. He'll be gone. Would have gone back all week and telling them how good we were, and gee, if I know what, he'll be firing them up and saying, Donny, you know, we've got it all on. And so the players would have had a good week in training and be wanting to come here and really get stuck into us. But I think it'll be a cracker.
And obviously we're expecting plenty of visiting Bradford Bulls fans. How important are our supporters going to be in creating that bit of atmosphere and driving the team on to 2 points?
It'll be good. We've got a lot of the community clubs coming. Like the community clubs are playing beforehand, and all the parents are coming, all the kids are coming in their kits, and I think there's a superheroes theme to the game as well, which the adults are wanting to get in on, which is great, you know. So it's all on. It's going to be massive. We've all been looking forward to it, haven't we? We've all been waiting for this game against Bradford, and regardless of what everyone says about Bradford and this and that, but I think every club looks waiting for that game. So we'll be ready.
Sponsors for this weekend's game?
Yeah, this week we've got another one of our very loyal main man, Richard Christensen from New Image Contracts. Been with us certainly since I've been back. Sponsors many games, sponsors on the shirts. So if anyone wants any, I'm good at this, aren't I? Painting and
Same,
you know,
pitch.
New Image Contracts, painting, decorating, and everything. Get hold of them, and then also he's the main match sponsor, and the match ball sponsor is George Flaster, who, you know, ex-player. He sponsors games for us once or twice a year. So really appreciate it. You know, not his company, just under George Flaster, and you know there'll also be on the weekend there'll be a 100 Club presentation to a few of the really old ex-players. Stuart Piper's arranged for some of the ex-legends to be here, and we'll do their 100 Club presentation to them. So it's all geared up for a real good day on Sunday, and hopefully the last thing I'd like to say is I'd just like to inform everyone, please come early, get here early so you can get in, watch these kids play, and I think the gates are going to open 1:30. Get in and support the local kids, get a bit of an atmosphere going on inside the bowl, and go to the family zone and so the car parking and everything like that. No cash gates, get your tickets, get your popcorn ready, she's all on.